All right, hey guys, welcome to the Super Cut Show with your boy CB Hayes. This is where we talk all things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when we post. So I'm here to talk about one of my heroes in this whole YouTube thing, Den of Nerds. Shout out to Josh, you are my guy. I need to become a Nerd Avenger. I really do need to sign up. But I do love this guy. He makes awesome content and he addressed the X-Men rumors that has been coming out for the past couple of days. So let's react to it and talk about it because what this man said had me tripping out. I'm not gonna lie. So let's listen to what my boy Josh has to say.
Hit of that pen. Anyway, listen, I'm here today and I'm here to explain the new X-Men rumor and I'm ready to tell you why it's so freaking good. So let's do this. Let's start with what the rumor is, okay? So, we've known for some time that they are developing an X-Men movie. I think it was codenamed The Mutants at one time, maybe when Victoria Alonso was there. I don't know. Regardless, we've known about like plans for an X-Men thing for some time. It's been at different stages of development over the past couple of years. We also know that within the last 6 months, Marvel has started taking actual pitches for the X-Men movie. Now, a lot of us are kind of like, okay, so is this then going to be after Secret Wars? Because there's another big rumor that's kind of looming heavy over everything else we talk about with Marvel. The rumor is that after Secret Wars, you will have a soft rebooted MCU. So to me, one of my biggest questions about X-Men, about the MCU X-Men was like, okay, so if we're playing with all the Fox characters in Secret Wars, which seems to be the case. I mean, we just watched Deadpool Wolverine trailer. It's lit. Ton of Fox X-Men show up in that trailer. Fantastic stuff. Well, how can you want to build up the Fox X-Men for Secret Wars and have Secret Wars be with mostly Fox X-Men and also be developing the X-Men in the MCU? Right? So I've always thought like that's weird. Like, how does that fit together? I don't know. Well, I think we now have the answer in the form of this new rumor. And the rumor is that the X-Men movie, the one they are developing right now, the MCU X-Men movie that we will go see in theaters probably within the next 2 to 3 years. They're going to streamline this shit. They're going quick on it, okay? That movie is going to be a Fox X-Men movie.
Okay. Oh wait, I'm gonna let him talk a little bit more. I'm gonna let him talk more.
Essentially with a huge asterisk next to it. Allow me to explain.
Now, what Josh is talking about, because a lot of people were kind of questioning this, including myself, about what he's talking about. And so, what Josh is saying right here is that they are going to do a movie with the Fox X Men. Now, he's going to break it down in a really cool way. So let's keep watching it. And so far, I'm on board. So far, I'm on board, and I see the vision of what he's saying. Let's go back into it.
The current rumor is that the X-Men movie will be taking place in the universe that Monica Rambeau ends up in at the end of the Marvels. Okay? That universe, I've had it described to me as the Fox X-Men universe, a Fox X-Men universe, a branch of a Fox X-Men universe. And so that's the basis of the rumor. Now, why?
So to come back to that, right? Josh talks about that the X-Men that they're going to be based on is the X-Men from Monica Rambeau's or from the universe that Monica Rambeau went to in the Marvels. After seeing the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, question for you guys. Could you see that being the universe that Deadpool and Wolverine jumped into instead of the 616 MCU? Questions.
Why does this excite me? Oh, there's one other thing here. Okay? Let's just talk about the rumor in totality and then I'll get into why I think it's so dope. That movie will be in that universe with X-Men and some Avengers or some other Marvel heroes that work with the X-Men, okay? Because we got Binary, which was, Captain Marvel. Maybe there'll be some other heroes, villains, or whatever in that universe, okay? That universe and those X-Men, they have already had encounters with Kang. That's an important part of the story as well. So the X-Men movie that we're going to see in the next couple of years, it'll take place after Avengers 5, but before Avengers 6. And it will be those X-Men on that world with both Binary and I think they're going to call her Spectrum or Photon, or maybe they'll just call her Monica. It's Monica with one of the bands and then her mother with both of the bands. So
okay, so if there is an X-Men movie that will happen in between Avengers Secret Wars or between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, aka Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, will the X-Men be facing against Kang if they face Kang before at this point? Or would this be about a incursion happening with the 616? Like, what would that be about? But this would be very interesting because a lot of people think that, the X-Men is happening. Obviously, that they're going to do a mad X-Men films after Secret Wars. But a lot of people don't think that the X-Men is going to come until the reboot. So if they are to do an X-Men film in between the Avengers movies, that will be super dope. The second question I have is, there was a rumor going around that Doctor Strange 3 was going to be the movie that's going to be in between Avengers 5 and 6. Even Spider-Man was talked about to be in between Avengers 5 and 6. So would that mean that if they are developing a X-Men film, would that just take the place of both and we'll just throw Doctor Strange maybe like next year or like we'll throw Doctor Strange in maybe 2 years from now or 3 years from now? Those are kind of the questions that I have, and I wonder how they would try to connect those. So that would be dope, though. It would be dope.
In that universe, they already have had encounters with Kang. They understand what the Bangles are. They understand incursions. They understand a lot. Okay, so in the post-credit scene of The Marvels, we get like a small insight into what that X-Men universe is. We can see Kelsey Grammer as Beast. He looks like he does in the animated series, with the white coat. I think the CGI was actually pretty lit. I thought it was cool. So we know that. We also know Charles exists in that universe because they're talking about Charles in that post-credit scene. Okay. So, are you with me? Do you understand what the rumor is and why it is set up?
Yes.
You get it? Okay. So, why, from a story perspective, does this excite me? Like, why do I think this is actually pretty cool? Well, number one, it solves the first problem I was talking to you guys about, which was like, how do you develop new X-Men while trying to sort of redeem old X-Men and use old X-Men in Secret Wars? And I think the mentality from Feige is he's treating all of the X-Men that are currently in the multiverse as essentially offshoots of the Fox X-Men stuff or stuff that has come before. So if you think about it, you see Professor X in Multiverse of Madness. He looks like the 90s animated Chuck. You know what I mean? Yellow chair and all. We see Beast in the post-credit scene of the Marvels. He looks like the traditional animated series version of Beast. We see Logan in the Deadpool Wolverine trailer. He looks like their traditional Wolverine from the 90s show. We've also heard that in Deadpool 3, it's kind of going to be commented on, and probably from the perspective of the TVA, that the way time travel and continuity was so whimsical under Fox is going to be used as a plot device, not as a plot hole. So I think the what he's trying to do, what Feige's trying to do, is sort of establish to us, the audience, that in most of the universes where the X-Men are a thing, they are pretty familiar to what you just know from the OG X-Men. Even things like First Class, even things like X3, these are all sort of spin-offs of, generally speaking, what the X-Men are like. Okay? So I like that because what that allows is sort of like a through line or development through not only Deadpool and Wolverine into the X-Men movie itself, possibly into Avengers 5, because another big rumor out there
Okay,
is
so before he gets into this big rumor, which is going to shake the world, I think what he is saying is that we are getting strands of the X-Men, and maybe in this X-Men movie, everything's going to come together. So, as you said, right, we saw Professor X in the Multiverse of Madness, right? Then we also saw Beast, and now we see Wolverine. And my guess is, or from what I think he's saying, is that we are going to see just kind of sort of the original X-Men cast come together for this X-Men film, and that's kind of going to be what we're going to see as the X-Men for right now. Which I'm not sure if I'll be down for that. I mean, it will be awesome. It really would, but what does that mean for the reboot or this new cast? Like, am I just supposed to forget about that right now and just focus on this X-Men? Or even like, will the X-Men that we see, will they just be like our definitive X-Men for right now? And then when the reboot comes, we'll just automatically get a whole new cast? Like, how would that work?
that Wolverine and Deadpool are being whatever that means for Avengers 5. So that's another reason why I think that portal at the end of the most recent trailer, that's going to 616, and Wolverine and Deadpool will be coming in to Avengers 5. They may well play the role similar to Hulk in Infinity War, where like Hulk comes in and has like all this knowledge of Thanos and stuff due to what happened with him and the Asgardians and all that, right? So he's sort of the catalyst for them finding out about it and getting prepared. I think it's very possible that Deadpool and Wolverine will be that. Okay. But here's the other reason why this shit is like I'm seeing the vision and I'm like, let's fucking go. That's cool. Because what that would mean is in Avengers 5, you would get the 616 Avengers with some X-Men learning about the collapsing of the multiverse. Then in X-Men, the movie, which would come out after that, you would have an Avenger, or technically not an Avenger, but a hero, right? In Monica, in an X-Men universe. Now,
so my guess of what he's saying is that if Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds Deadpool go to the MCU, and with Monica Rambeau's Photon, right, in this X-Men universe, it gives them both the connection automatically. So makes sense.
would allow them to potentially do a multiversal version of Avengers versus X-Men. And we've talked about this, yo. We've talked about this. There's been a lot of buzz, a lot of rumors that could be coming. I think for many of us, we were like, but how? Right? Like, cool idea, but how? How does that work? This is the way it works. You could have the first one be Avengers 5. Then you go into that X-Men movie. It could literally be Avengers versus X-Men. And you could make it so this universe, the one in the end of the Marvels, the one where the X-Men movie is going to be set in, you could have that be one of the last universes in the multiverse that is colliding with 616.
So what Josh is saying again is that, as I said, right, there's going to be that connection both from Monica Rambeau's being with the X-Men on their Earth, and with Deadpool and Wolverine possibly going to the 616, which will put Wolverine and Deadpool on that Avengers roster for Avengers 5, which the Avengers roster needs mad power. So that'll be awesome. And then we will go into this Avengers versus X-Men in Avengers in between Avengers 5 and 6. Now, I know some people would be upset that we're not getting the proper Avengers versus X-Men and that it will be multiversal, but I don't care about that. I think it'll be super awesome if we got an Avengers versus X-Men in between Secret Wars. I think that would be super dope. And with that, and with like having the idea of an incursion happening at the same time, man, that would be fire.
That would mirror what happens in Jonathan Hickman's story right before we get into Secret Wars. Essentially, the last two universes in the multiverse that collided were the Ultimates universe, the original one, 1610, and 616. That happened in Marvel Comics. And so you could see them sort of adapting that, taking some Avengers versus X-Men stuff, making that work for the Avengers movie. That shit would be awesome. I would love it so fucking much because it would just be a way for us to kind of like have our cake and eat it too. Like we kind of just jump ahead to like the X-Men and the Avengers like fighting. The only bad part about that would be like it's kind of the weaker class of Avengers, like real talk. Like it's like Sam and all that. They're like a little bit weaker. But I mean, you get Thor back there, you get Doc Strange back there. All of a sudden, we're cooking. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe they just bring RDJ in. Fuck it, bro. You're doing Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah, right.
You gotta bring fucking
100%.
Jackman back, bro. Like if you're doing Avengers versus X-Men or Robert Downey Jr., if you don't bring RDJ back for that, you're foolish as fuck. Like that, you gotta bring Robert Downey back for that shit, man. And it could be a perfect precursor into Secret Wars and all that.
Okay, I'm gonna let Josh go. Thank you, Josh. I see the vision for what bro was saying. I would definitely be excited for an event like that to happen, even if it's not as even if Avengers versus X-Men is birthed off an incursion, because I do think that you can still use Doctor Strange and the 616 as the most dangerous universe. Because I mean, wouldn't it be dope if like what happened on the A38 when Wanda came in and killed the whole darn near the whole entire Illuminati? What if that circulated to other Earths because they're all in contact with each other, and then we see something to where they're going at it with our 616, and then we end up seeing the X-Men go against the Avengers, and we have something like that happen where Hugh Jackman might be playing both sides, or we might have a Wolverine from that Earth going against our Hugh Jackman that we just saw in Deadpool Wolverine. So I mean, there's a lot of things, and then even if you put Doctor Strange before this X-Men movie, if that was to happen, that could give more leadway into that event happening. So I think there's a lot of potential with what you can do with the X-Men, and I think a lot of people would be shocked if you bring in the X-Men earlier. And I mean, to be honest, you can think about the recast stuff later. Work with who you got now, and just get it popping. So I think that this theory is cool, and we're really not going to have a clear answer until we see where Deadpool and Wolverine go in the end. And obviously that's probably the biggest part of the movie, where they will end up in the end, because that's going to set us on the trajectory to Secret Wars. So pretty exciting stuff. Love this theory and rumor, really. Tell me, I would love to hear what you guys think about this. All right, peace out.